All right, I went ahead and put both items in your table of contents so that you don't have to flip back and forth between your table of contents today. So if you will, in your table of contents, you're going to write Chapter 3, decimals, and 3-1, comparing and ordering decimals. So we're on page 19 and 20 today. So go ahead and put both items in your table of contents. All right, on page 19, I want you to write, it needs to take up the whole page, or almost the whole page. Chapter 3, decimals. Now, I don't want you to write with a Sharpie, because if you do, it's going to bleed through the page. You can write with a highlighter. That's what I wrote with, okay? And if you have a tab, you need to go ahead and put your tab on that page so that when you close it, you can see chapters 1, 2, and 3. But this is going to take up the entire page. Write it with a pencil, write it with a highlighter. Do not write it with a Sharpie. Okay, if you write it with a Sharpie, it's going to bleed through your page. You're not going to be able to see your work on the page behind it. That's perfect. All right. Yes.
I don't have any flowers.
Just write it with a pencil. Okay. We are on a new indicator for this chapter. Okay, and I'm going to read this to you. Investigate and translate among multiple representations of rational numbers. We are not doing fractions today. We are not doing percentages today. We are only doing decimals today, okay? For our focus statement, and I have it at the top of your paper so you don't have to write it, I will be able to, or I can, compare and order decimals. So on page 20, I want you to take this paper, okay? I'll make Justin a packet for today, okay? All right, the first thing that we're going to do today should be a very quick review, okay? How many people, I know that Bree cannot raise her hand for this one, remember doing your bell work in Miss Whitley's 4th grade math class? and you had to write decimal numbers in standard form or word form or expanded form. How many people love doing that? Most people don't really like doing that because it's a lot of writing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Miss Whitley did such a great job of teaching y'all to write it, decimal numbers in various different forms, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, okay? That is something that most of you mastered in 4th grade. If you did not, then we'll work on it on an individual basis, okay? What we're going to do first is I'm going to talk about these, okay? We have 3 different forms that we're going to talk about: expanded form, word form, and standard form, okay? And standard is just the number, okay? And when we write it in word form, we write it like we say it. Now, can I say 1.356 or 2.356? 2.356. What does the decimal mean when we are saying it? What do we say? And. You must always say and, okay? Y'all, I know that when you are outside of math class, most of us use a slang term. 2.356. 2.356. Now, because I teach math, I don't typically do that anymore, okay? Because I teach you to say it correctly. And here, you cannot say point, you cannot say dot, you cannot say decimal. I want you to say the magic word and, okay? So it would be 2 and 356 what? 2 and 356 thousandths. Yes, okay? Now, if we wrote it in expanded form, that's when you add it all together. 2 plus 3/10 plus 500ths plus 6 thousandths, okay? So, on the left side of your paper, we're going to practice this first before we go on to comparing. I've got a number right here, and I'm going to read it out. I'm not going to read it out the correct way. I have 67.09. I want you to write that out in word form. So if you were to say it, what would you say?
In word.
I want you to write it out in words. THS. Nine what? And does that say 6,000? All right, Ava, what you got?
67 and 9,000.
9 what? That's not what you had on your paper.
I mean hundred.
Hundredths, yes. 67. Oh, I was writing 7 before I was writing 6. 67 and 9 hundredths. Remember, anything after the decimal has what on the end of it?
THS.
THS, okay? Please don't forget the THS. Anything after the decimal has THS. All right, I have another one that we're going to practice. I have 804.735, and I want you to write it in expanded form. Remember, expanded form is right here. It's the one where you add them all together, okay? you just need 800, you don't need the decimal. All right, what does the 8 represent?
800.
800. Plus, do I need anything for the 0?
No.
Nope. What does the 4 represent?
4 represents 1.
The 1's place. So what do I need to write?
Just 4.
Just 4. What does the 7 represent?
2.
Tenths. So I've got to write it as 0.7. What does the 3 represent?
The 100.
The hundredths place. So I need 0.03. And what does the 5 represent?
Thousands.
Thousandths. So I need 0.005. And am I done? Yep, I'm finished. I don't need to write anything else.
Someone look at the door.
Okay. All right, number 3. Write 21,587 and 9 thousandths in standard form. Your mom and I have been playing phone tag. All right, what am I going to write?
21,587 and 9,000.
All right, so what do I need after the decimal? Tell me exactly what to write.
2 zeros and a 9.
Yay! Yes, that's perfect. Y'all, it gets a little tricky, okay? You got to dial your brain back to Miss Whitley because you remember doing this in her class almost every morning, all right? Okay, now we're going to talk about comparing decimal numbers, all right? Now, y'all know that I really like to talk about word parts, okay? Y'all know I like to talk about word parts so we can figure out what the word means. Does anybody in here know what the prefix IN means? If your work is incomplete, it is what?
Wrong.
It's what?
Wrong.
If it's incomplete, is it finished or is it not finished?
Finishing. Not.
Not finished. If it is incomplete, it is not finished. The prefix I. All right, the next part we are going to compare, okay? Now, down here I put some steps to remind us how to compare decimals. All right, the first step says that we need to write them how?
Vertically.
Vertically. Which way is vertically?
And down.
Up and down. So let's write these 4 that I cut them off right here. These 4 vertically. We must line up the decimal. Okay, when you rewrite them, you line up the decimal. So we've got 4 and 9/10. And underneath it, I'm going to write 4 and 98 hundredths. I'm lining up my decimal. 4 and 9 hundredths. And 4 and 8/10. Step 3 tells me I need to do what?
3.
Step 3 tells me I have to put what?
And
Any place I've got open, I need to put what?
a 0.
A 0. Okay, we are going to compare left to right. And I want to put these in order from least to greatest, from the smallest to the biggest. So we are going to start right here, okay? Can I compare the 4s? Nope. I cannot because they're all the same. Can I compare the tenths place?
Yes.
Yes. So if I'm going least to greatest, what's going to come first? I've got 9908. What's the least? The 0. So I'm going to, oh, that will not work. I'm going to put 4 and 0, 9, which is 4 and 900ths. And I'm going to mark that out because I've used it, okay? I'm not going to look at that one anymore. Now I have 998. Which one's going to come next?
The 8.
The 8. So I've got 4 and 80 hundredths. And I'm going to mark it out because I've used it. Now I have 9 and 9. Can I compare those?
No.
Nope. I need to go where?
To the hundredths.
I've got to go to the hundredths. So I have a 0 and an 8. What's going to come next? What's the smallest?
The 0.
The 0. And then I'm only left with 4 and 98 hundredths. Okay? So let's practice this just a little bit. Right here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. What's the first thing we have to do with my 5 numbers?
Vertical.
Put them vertically. When I write them vertically, what must I make sure that I line up?
The decimal.
The decimal. All right, after I write them vertically, what do I have to do?
Put a 0 in the empty.
Do I have any empty places? Yep. I've got one here and one here. So I'm going to put a 0 in both of those places so that I have a digit matching for each number. Okay? Now we're going to look, do we work from right to left or left? Do we work from left to right or right to left?
Left or right.
Left to right. So we're going to start right there. I have 0, 1, 4, 1, 1. What's going to come first?
The 0.
The 0. It's going to be the least. So I have 340 thousandths. I have 1, 4, 1, 1. What can I tell with those 4 numbers? I'm going from least to greatest. Can I tell anything there? Is there a number that sticks out? I've got 1, 4, 1, 1. Are they all equal? No. Which one does not equal the rest?
4.
The 4. So where can I put that 4? Is it going to be next or is it going to be the greatest number?
The greatest.
The greatest number. So I'm going to put it all the way down here at the bottom. Oh, I'm marking out the wrong one. And I'm done with 4 and 34 thousandths. Now I have 1, 1, 1. Can I compare 1, 1? Nope, cannot do that. So we're going to the next one. And we've got 4, 0, 4. What's going to come next?
The 0.
The 0. 1 and 43 thousandths. And mark it out. So I have 4 and 4 left. Can I compare the 4 and the 4?
No.
Nope. So I got to go to the next one. Oh, I highlighted the wrong one. I have a 3 and a 2. Can I compare those?
Yes.
Yes. What's going to come next?
The 2.
The 2. 1 and 424 thousandths. And then I have 1 and 430 thousandths. Yeah. All right, the next slide is our exit ticket for today, okay? So if you'll look at that next slide,